The town of Guérande lies on a peninsula just below Brittany off the Atlantic Ocean. Distinguishable by its medieval walls, it's become world-renowned for being the birthplace of one of France's gastronomic treasures.
Here we are in the Gironde salt marshes. Their particularity, as the name suggests, is that they produce salt, both the Gironde salt and also the fleur de sel, the fine sea salt. They are collected from the basins you see behind me, which have clay bottoms.
100% natural, the Gironde salt and fleur de sel is harvested manually according to a unique tradition by paludiers, which means men of the marshes in the local Breton dialect. Although the basins require meticulous attention all year round, the harvest takes place between June and September, depending on wetness, wind and sunlight levels. The salt is collected in salt pans, known as œillets.
When we go round the salt pans, we push the salt to one side, and then once we are on the embankments, we grip the handle the other way around and gather it up into mounds using the other side of the maille, which is flat.
The salt has a grey-like tinge to it, and this is for several reasons.
If the salt is grey, it's primarily down to the fact it's collected from a clayey bottom, and its contact with the clay gives it this slightly greyish tint. Our salt is different from others because it is sold in its purest form. It's not been washed, it's untreated, and contains no additives. It's sold in the same condition as it is when harvested.
Fleur de sel is much rarer and collected differently and has a pure white colour.
A thin film of salt forms on the water's surface in the corners on summer nights when there's a lot of wind. It's very difficult to predict. Some nights there's nothing, and others there is, so we don't actually produce very much. Our fleur de sel doesn't have a sharp taste. It's not aggressive. It's mild. It's not how one would expect salt to taste.
In March, the 185 salt workers that share the 2,000 hectares of salt marshes landed the protected geographical indication, the first time a European salt has been awarded this EU status, which guarantees the heritage, authenticity and quality of a product, which in this case in particular is becoming increasingly popular.
Dans les produits dérivés, le best-seller, c'est vraiment le caramel au beurre salé. Alors le caramel au beurre salé.
Our best-selling byproduct is a salted butter toffee.
De leurs vacances en Bretagne.
It reminds people of their holiday in Brittany. We have a number of variations.
Bonbons durs.
Boiled sweets, hard candy, but we mostly stock softer, chewy sweets. We sell by the kilo, and also in slabs. They all contain salt because they are made with salted butter. The toffee, or caramel, also comes as a sauce. Most of us have had it before on pancakes. Our salt plays a prominent role across the region and on the Gironde Peninsula. It's given pride of place. It's used a great deal in cooking, in salted crusts, or when cooking on a bed of salt. There is always some fleur de sel on the table. It's symbolic of the region and something restaurant owners are very proud of.
We head to Pouliguen, around 10 kilometers down the road. In this waterfront restaurant, the chef, Georges de Carvalho, serves fish in Guérande sea salt crust. Today, he's preparing sea bass caught the same morning.
The recipe is actually very simple. It's just local fish, the local salt, and all we need to add to make the crust is a bit of egg white to ensure it's hard. We place the fish on a layer of salt, and then we have to be careful not to tear the skin, or the fish will taste far too salty. Then we just have to put it in the oven. By cooking it this way, we preserve all the flavour and the skin doesn't dry out.
This sea bass for 6 is left to cook for around 35 minutes at 200 degrees.
I'm serving it with a side dish of young vegetables, spring vegetables, including the famous nomoitier potato. And to top it off perfectly, a sauce made from shallots, white wine and butter. We're needed. And here we have it, the salt-crusted sea bass. I've just added a touch of fleur de sel, just to make sure the fish is seasoned all over, because it is, after all, quite an exceptional salt.